We acknowledge thy presence and thy power, O blessed Spirit. In thy divine wisdom now, we raise our mortal limitations, and from thy pure substance of love, bring into manifestation our world according to thy perfect will. Amen.
Before I read the daily word, I want to give a shout out to Connie for the incredible graphics she puts up every morning. I know that involves a lot of work. We are blessed in Michigan to have seasons, and if you listen to music, you may have heard of all these 4 seasons. Throughout the seasons of life, our Christ light shines brightly. When winter follows the autumn harvest, and the sun's light grows weaker, what may resemble barren land is actually a time of rest, a preparation for the new cycle of seasons. The sun's light and warmth change in ways that perfectly suit each season. Our life, like the planet Earth, moves through seasons. The awakening of wonder in childhood, exciting and sometimes stormy growth during adolescence and early childhood, the achievements of our middle years, and the fulfillment and maturity can bring. The Christ presence, the divine light within us, is our unfailing source of strength, understanding, and comfort in every season of life. And God said, "Let there be lights in the dome of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years." And this is from Genesis 1 through 14.
But as we go through these words, when we listen to the daily word, we're often just kind of going through the motions. When we say the invocation prayer together, the statement of meaning, we say these automatically. So I'd like you to take this in, and even prayers, we kind of put it out there, but I'd like you to take this in and visualize it. As we go through this service, as we go through these motions, let's really picture in our mind's eye what this means to us. So if you'll join me, and it's probably behind me, thank you to Connie, just for me, awesome, not just for the screens. Join me. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This love that is all is perfect life, perfect substance, and perfect substance. each and every one of you and me, those we held in prayer, and those everywhere in existence. Perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. So right where you're at, just take a deep breath. Breathe that in. What does that feel like? Can you find that place within you that knows that it's true? That place where you know that you are one with God, that you are one with all that is. We may not fully understand all of these statements or be able to see them in our human mind. Let's go to that place within, that place in our heart where we can feel the truth. Begin by taking just a couple more deep breaths, slowly inhaling deeply. And as you exhale, just allow yourself to release all that doesn't serve you in this moment. Shake it off if you need to, like the leaves releasing from the tree. Let go of your agenda for the day or your rush to get here this morning. With each breath, let go of any tension or stress you may be carrying in your mind and your body. Releasing your neck, your shoulders. Releasing and relaxing your jaw and your eyebrows. And allow right where you are to fully support you. Knowing that right where you are, God is, and this is a safe place. In the quiet of thought, we ask for guidance on what and how to let go. Clear out, eliminate, give away what no longer is needed, what no longer serves us. To releasing any physical clutter, unused items, anything you've outgrown. Just imagine what it might look like to release. And then let's go a little bit deeper, releasing any habits, dependencies, any unhealthy boundaries, maybe even relationships that no longer serve your highest good. Just see yourself releasing and letting go and rising up into the fullness of who you are. Once you've let go of that which holds you back and holds you down, just take another deep breath. Picture how that might feel. Next, let's take a moment of courage to release any unforgiveness, any judgments that tether you to the past or even in the moment, even in the present. And affirm a vital, positive life in the present moment. Releasing the ties of unforgiveness, releasing those who held in resentment or judgment or error, releasing yourself, forgiving yourself. Let's go even one step further and let go of any negative thinking, any limited thoughts or ideas. Release any limited thoughts about yourself, your capabilities. Any limitation you put on others or situations. With your next exhale, release any doubt or fear, breaking free from any feelings of inadequacy or lack. Take a deep breath for this next one as we release the habit of criticizing others or ourselves. Just let that go. No longer serves us, we make room for delightful circumstances and opportunities. So let's now continue to breathe and focus our attention on our heart center. Just visualize a warm golden light radiating from within you. A light that represents the divine love and wisdom that's always with you. Just feel that love wrapped around you, protecting you, the divine flowing through you, filling you right now with a sense of peace and security. Trusting that you are always guided, always supported, even when you can't see the path ahead. So with our next breath, as we just scan through our body and our mind to see if there's anything left to release and let go of. Feel that love moving through you, letting go of any remaining worries or fears or tensions that may still be lingering. Just release them into the light of love. And know that without you having to do anything, you're being transformed into peace and harmony. And as we begin slowly to bring our attention back to this present moment, trusting that everything is unfolding as it should, give yourself permission to let go of anything that is not in your control and surrender to this flow. The flow of life that is being guided, divinely guided. And taking one more deep breath, just visualize yourself surrounded by protective light. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes, carrying the sense of peace and trust that's within you, bring it out into this space. Into this place where you become that love, that light. Look around and notice that this space is the place where we are created energy and love and safety. And that begins with you. So join me in the meditation response, affirming these truths for each of us. More love. Let's turn that within for a minute. Think about the love within you. What do you do with that love? Is it conditional? I mean, let's think about the seasons. I mentioned this in the e-news, for those who may have read it. Think about how much we love the leaves changing colors and fall, we think it's so beautiful. And yet, some might have the perception of it's dying. This is awful. It's about to be cold out. This morning, we gained an hour. You know we really didn't, right? I'm just I mean, unless you stayed up an extra hour, or unless you changed your habits, and yet everybody's like, I got an extra hour of sleep. I don't know about anyone else, but I woke up after the normal amount of hours of sleep I usually get, and I'm like, but my alarm didn't go off yet, because our bodies are in a rhythm. And yet, let's fast forward to spring. How many complaints do you hear about, oh my goodness, I'm losing an hour, why did they do this to me? This, universal day that's out to get us. And it's really just a matter of perspective. But there's things about change, many different aspects of change, that cause us to go into fear. And fear is where we need somebody to blame because it feels better, doesn't it? If it's somebody else's fault, because we don't want to own it or take responsibility. And yet, in spring, when we supposedly lose an hour, sort of, we could go to bed earlier. There's an option instead of losing the sleep. Instead of staying up later like we made when we made an hour, I have an extra hour to watch TV. It's really just a matter of perspective. So have you ever noticed the difference in how people view the world? Like I said, the leaves, I think it's beautiful. I love it. Every week, I live in a condo, they come and they mow and they take all the beautiful leaves away. And I don't leave them, what if we want to jump in them? And other people are like, no, we're not too old to jump in the leaves. And yet, other people are like, I have to rake the leaves and buy lawn bags. It's just a matter of perspective. So I just want you to take a moment to think about how change feels to you. And it doesn't matter what change. Change can look lovely, like when the flowers begin to bloom or the colors begin to change. It can look really scary, like losing a job or a relationship. It can look like many different things. I think the change we're most afraid of is that which we don't know, the unknown. What does change feel like to you? Just notice, this isn't a place for judgment. In fact, it's natural. I think it's natural. When we don't know what's coming, which is usually what change means, unless we're the one navigating it, and even then, even if we're doing the driving, we don't always know. That's road construction and roadblocks and detours happen in all of life. But how do you feel about it? Just change in general, just check in. Is there a place in your body where you feel it? Is it that gut feeling of, oh, did you just feel all that tension I asked you to release during the meditation? Did you feel some of that in? And yet, I want you to think about a change that maybe you created or that happened for you that felt so good. Maybe it was when you bought the new home, or entered that new relationship, or started the new job. When it's, as we would define good, it feels much different, doesn't it? But there's never a guarantee, it's all change. And life is forever changing, no matter how hard we wish it would, right? Things happen, change happens. So, let's think in unity terms for a minute. Community, we teach that our thoughts, our words create a reality. So if you emphasize that we are in control of that, just think about that for a minute. However you are navigating that change, talking about it or complaining about it, celebrating it or criticizing it, that's creating part of that experience for you. I have a friend for some years now, she said, when she faces something that something's gone wrong, she would see it, she has come up with this automatic response of, oh, wonderful, wonderful, I can't wait to see where this leads. Well, that shifts, because it could be a whole different response, right? Things that go wrong, that's not usually what comes out of my mouth. Anyone else? Somebody cuts you off in traffic, not usually the words I'm saying in the car. And yet, it's a choice. And doesn't that feel better? I can't wait to see where this leads. It's not saying, this is everything I asked for. It's like, okay, well, this is what is, where will we go? So the Fillmores taught us about faith. And faith is really just not understanding, it doesn't mean understanding or liking or loving the situation. It's simply trusting that God is right there too. And I know sometimes that's hard when it doesn't look good, right? When it looks scary. Well, where's God in this? Well, I'd like you to take a moment just to put your hand on your heart. Because that's where God is in all situations. If you look in the mirror, if you feel He's on your hand right there, beating in your heart, breathing through your lungs, living and expressing as you is where God is, always. Even when things seem to appear scary or uncertain or changing maybe faster than you can keep up with, right here. So when we choose faith, we tap into that infinite intelligence of love, of the divine presence within us. Not out there controlling everyone as a puppet, but in here giving us the power to choose. Fear, on the other hand, it's really that it's a limiting force. It takes us out of that remembrance, that denial of truth. And it holds us back from our potential. Fear serves many purposes. Fear says look both ways before you cross the street. It doesn't say don't ever cross the street. It doesn't say if you cross the street you're going to get run over. It just says pause, look, okay, proceed. I would say pause, pray, then proceed. I mean, maybe we don't have to pray every time we cross the street, literally. But if there's something before you that you're uncertain of, just pause. Go inside for a moment and ask what is yours to do. But the truth is, fear can manifest itself in things like anxiety, worry, depression, doubt, insecurity, which then puts us in that place of defensiveness and arguments and snipping and snapping and judging and all of that. Have you ever been there? Maybe all of us, right? And it's human, right? But yet, that's what's in our control. So if we just that power to pause, if we never taught another lesson, there's great power in that. Just go, oh, hold up. Am I judging? Am I reacting? Am I in fear? Because if I am, timeouts are not just for children. In fact, I think us as adults need timeouts far more than kids do. God bless you. So unity teaches us that fear is just an illusion. It's just a thought. It's a false belief of lack of limitation. It's a story we're making up in our head. Because when we're afraid of something, it's because we assume or we've created a story of how it's going to turn out. We could go on and on about just a society in the world right now. There are people afraid of a variety of different things. Maybe we're afraid of the election. Maybe we're afraid of layoffs at our job. Maybe we're afraid of our children out there behaving in ways that don't make sense to us. And all of those fears are real. So earlier you heard Carol lead us in prayer. Ask us to go inside for prayer. And it's interesting, I remember when I first heard you guys do prayer this way, I thought, well, we're not even praying. You're just like, just be quiet for a minute. And everybody goes in on their own and nobody leaves. And yet, what a beautiful opportunity, because where is faith really? It's not in somebody else speaking words and somebody out there doing the work. It's right here. So let's look at the metaphysical definition in the revealing word about fear. Let's just see what the Fillmores say about this. It says fear is a painful emotion marked by alarm, dread, or disquiet. That's actually Webster's definition. Fear is one of the most subtle and destructive errors that the carnal mind in man experiences. Fear is a paralyzer of mental action. It weakens both mind and body. Fear throws dust in our eyes and hides the mighty spiritual forces that are always with us. Blessed are those who deny ignorance and fear and affirm the presence of Holy Spirit. So it goes on to say, which I love, it gave us some action. I like action steps. I love poetry, but poetry doesn't usually tell you what next, right? So in the revealing word it says, how to overcome fear? Fear is cast out by perfect love. To know divine love is to be selfless, and to be selfless is to be without fear. The God-conscious person is filled with quietness and confidence. Now that doesn't mean it won't creep in. It's going to happen. And again, fear serves a purpose, right? Fear says, hey, there's a car driving the wrong way on the road, get out of the way. I mean, you're not supposed to be like, well, but God's in that car too. Yes, God is in that car too. But still get out of the way. I mean, we have to have some sense. It's still us navigating our path. But it's not for us to go, oh my goodness, I can never drive again. Because that happens. Does it happen? Of course, it's all included. Good, bad, beautiful, and ugly. It's all perception and it's all included, right? So it's there, but what will your next step be? Will you hide under the rock forever? I mean, when we've all had days where we want to pull the blanket over our head and go, no, can't do the world today. No people neglected me today. And that's okay. But how long will you stay there? We need a timeout. But the timeout isn't just to hide, it's to say, what is mine to do next? So I want to read you a little bit by Reverend April Ellenburg, a community minister, who said, for some people, the unpredictability of life is problematic. The human ego, functioning out of fear of the unknown, tries to control situations, people, politics, religion, and anything it can dominate to make control and feel safe. So I'll pause there for a minute. Anybody here ever try to control situations, people, politics, religion? Is anybody here successful? Because if so, I want to trade places, like here now, right? But we've done it though, haven't we tried and spun our wheels and made ourselves crazy because, you won't do what I want you to do, and that makes life so challenging for me, but does it really, right? So she goes on to say, some people are looking for assurance in the midst of constant evolution. The challenge is no matter how hard we try to preserve a way of life, it will change. We joke about that in Michigan. If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, it'll change. And I mean, we've seen that. But have you noticed how we come to accept that? We can all laugh about it. Somebody moves to Michigan, someone in their first week is going to say that kind of thing to them. Don't worry, just like it's always changed. And yet, we accept that change with ease, with laughter even. Because we know, like the seasons, maybe we don't like when the leaves fall off and it starts to get colder. But we have this ongoing, lifelong, literally lifelong experience and assurance that it will change. Hold on, it'll change. We know spring is going to come after winter. We know summer will come after that. We know fall will be back. And we accept that. So in places where you don't accept change, I invite you to go within and say, well, what is it about this that scares you? Because that's usually what it is. So let me complete this quote by Reverend McDowell. She says, human consciousness fears what it cannot control. Anything different from the norm, whatever that is scary to the preservation of the alleged status quo. Fear then begins to dictate what we do. Therefore, we cannot allow the lower levels of the human thinking based on fear, uncertainty, and ignorance to dictate our decisions. It says we must transcend the limited view of the human ego and connect with a higher level of awareness, seeing beyond the facts and limited perceptions to the goodness of God. Now here's the thing, feelings are always true, but they're not always based on facts. When you're afraid, it's real, you're afraid. If you're upset, if you feel like somebody has disrespected you, you feel that way even if they didn't realize they did. So it's not to discredit how you're feeling. Our feelings are always relevant. If you're feeling afraid, just check in or talk to somebody, call somebody, they're prayer partners, pray with someone, call silent unity, journal it out. If you're upset, if you're angry, all of that is real, it's relevant. It's not to judge, we all experience those. But are you allowing that to create your story and hold you captive? Are you in bondage, or are you willing to choose to be liberated? Charles Gilmore wrote that faith is the perceiving power of the mind, linked with the power to shape substance. The perceiving power of the mind, which is different for every one of us. Every one of us has a different experience in our life, different things we've gone through, different things we were raised. As an only child, there are so many things I learned from my kids, like things that I didn't even know existed. seem too, like, he looked at me. So what, if you look the other way, you won't even notice. And yet my friends with siblings are like, that is not how that works. And looking at her is really an issue, like, I don't get it, right? And we all, I mean, that's what we can laugh about and joke about, but different perceptions are so real. For me, I really don't get it. For people with siblings, most people in the room with siblings would probably go, April, it's an issue when they're staring at you. You know, and it's true for both of us. It's an issue and it's not, right? If you think about during COVID, Martha Creek shared a beautiful, beautiful moment with her brother, where he shared how concerned he was that she wouldn't get the vaccination. He was really worried for her that she'd get sick. And she said, I feel the same way. I'm also very concerned for you that if you don't get it, then you'll get sick. Both are very real places of love, loving concerns. Two different perceptions. Not one right or wrong, both real for each person, right? So if you think about faith over fear, how do we choose, how do we shift from one? We so often, use the butt-up, if you will, that we fall back. And then we're going to faith forward. We fall back into fear all the time, not just by turning our clocks back, but it's so easy. We all have different fears that we fall into often. And they're probably different, for Carol than for Rhonda, for everybody. We all have different patterns of fear. And we fall into them easy. So it's not about trying to stop those thoughts or stop those fears, but recognize them quickly. Faith sees ideas where fear sees disbelief. For some people at work, we use this metaphor, and I lead a group called Mindsets and Behaviors, of the ladder of inference. And you get to a point where you think you know all of it. Maybe you've been at it. We've all met the person who's been there for 30 years, and they know all the things, and they're not open to change. This way works, it's the way we've always done it. Ever hear something like that or think it your way? And then all of a sudden, there's a new way. And if maybe you're forced to go to that new way, suddenly you might have to suck up and go, oh, you were right. The new way does actually make it easier, faster, better, whatever it is. But still, there's that moment of disbelief. It's like, well, we've always done it, it works, don't change anything. Don't you wish we could just make the whole world not change anything? And then if we didn't change anything, there wouldn't be people online watching service right now from other places. There wouldn't be a way to make phone calls to our loved ones that don't live next door. There wouldn't be television to watch. There wouldn't be cars to drive. Change is good. Change can be good. And when it's not, it'll change again. Just remember it like the weather. If you don't like it, it'll change again. But the truth is, faith sees opportunities where fear sees obstacles. And in you, check in and see where that shows up. Faith sees potential where fear sees problems. It's just a matter of perception. If you simply go from a different standpoint, if you see it from here instead of over here, it's going to look different. Faith sees abundance where fear sees limitations. But when we think about unity principles and the place, the perception from which we say we come from, we say that there's one God, that all is good, that God is moving through us, that we have all these powers available to us, and then we go out those doors, and it all sometimes seeps out of our brains, and we're like, oh my goodness, I am helpless, I am hopeless, and that may be true in how you're feeling. But it's not the divine truth. God is working in and through and as us, meaning all of that is always available to us. And in the moments when we don't know what to do with it or how to tap into that, that's why we're in this together. I believe in the, it takes a village, tribal mentality. We are all going to have moments, real, true moments in our feelings, in our hearts. We're like, I can't do it one more, I just can't. This feels so hard, I don't know how. And it takes courage. I'm sure I'm not the only one here that struggles to say, I need help. And I mean, sometimes that's quite literally, I can't reach the light bulb in my laundry because it's a raised ceiling. And I feel foolish asking anyone to drive to my house and change a light bulb. That's ridiculous. I should be able to do it myself. But would you go change a light bulb for somebody? I would too. Without any thought. So in those moments when you just don't know how, when you're in that place of fear, because we can get stuck, we've all been stuck in fear, reach out. How can we use faith? Jesus taught us that faith works in the spoken word. What words are you using? Are you complaining, telling everybody what they're doing wrong? Are you sharing your fear? Because we all do it sometimes. In the Gospel of Mark 11:22-24, Jesus teaches us how to utilize the power of faith. He taught us to speak the word of faith to the mountains in our lives. First, we must put our minds on the spirit that transcends the appearance by seeing God's goodness with our faith. And sometimes that means not with our human eyes, but with our faith in our heart. Then we must speak to our seeming problems and tell them to be dismissed into nothingness. Now know that that doesn't mean a situation will cease to be. But as we pray that, our perception will shift and we'll be able to see it in another way or see a way around it. If we want to master life, we must exercise our faith. It takes practice. You can't go to the gym once and, have a healthy body after just one time. You may need to keep going, keep working out. We can't eat one vegetable and go back to cupcakes. I wish. I'm not a cupcake person, I go for cheesecake, but I wish if I just had a vegetable, maybe one a week even, and then you can go back to the other habits, right? Faith is something that must be practiced. So as we say yes to good, by seeing it spiritually and holding it in mind, holding it in our heart, believing it, that it's possible, then it will come to be true. In some way, maybe different than what we thought. And in those moments when you're looking at a situation, I don't see the possibility in that. When I look at that, I don't see the God, the Christ presence in that. Can you just believe in your heart that it's possible? Maybe you don't see it, maybe you don't know the how. But can you simply say that, right there, I know, I can't see it. It doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like I picture it, but I believe that it's possible. I believe that even that storm can be calm. I don't know how. I believe that even there, in behaviors that we don't understand, even there, God does. The story of the mustard seed. Is it just about having a little bit of faith? In fact, that's not what it's about at all. That we've all heard the story of the mustard seed, and we think you only need this much faith. But the story of the mustard seed, when you have the literal terms of planting one mustard seed, you grow crops that will just take it all out and change it all. Just one little mustard seed, the power of it. So it's not about having a little bit of faith, but the power that a little bit of faith has. It's a different perspective. So in those moments when you don't know, when you can't see, when you're, I don't get it, I don't understand this person's belief, I don't understand that behavior, I don't see how we can fix that situation. Can you just go inside and ask yourself, do I believe it's possible? I don't know how. I don't know the way, but I know everything's possible. Miracles have happened in my life. Things have turned out in ways that I never would have guessed. Can you just believe it's possible? Just possible. Just maybe possible. In a far-fetched world, just maybe possible. You see, the faith allows us to become independent thinkers. When we keep faith in God within us, just within us, our thinking isn't determined by these limited viewpoints and paradigms. It's not determined by what we see on the news or what we see in other people and their behaviors. It's simply a context of love and wholeness and prosperity from a divine point of view. Just saying that I know there's enough for all, and I know there's good, and I know there's good in everybody. But again, it takes practice. It takes remembering. So I think the power of this month is perfect. The power for November is release. Letting go of what no longer serves us. An affirmation for a release is, I release anything and everything that no longer serves my unfolding good. And I would go forth to say that usually that's limiting thoughts. It's our own stuff. And maybe in our mind there's even thoughts we don't believe. Think about all the different things we were told growing up. Money doesn't grow on trees. No that part's true as far as I'm aware. And yet trees are turned into things that make money, so I don't know, maybe that statement isn't quite true, right? I don't know, if we really dig into it, but think about those old thought patterns, those unconscious biases, if you will. Well, if this looks this way, it's going to go bad, whatever it is. And yet, maybe sometimes that's true. The thing is, stereotypes in any form, whether about people or situations, it's not that they're not true. The stereotype just isn't complete. There's more to the story. It's all included. You're right, sometimes this is true, and sometimes it's different. So as we release, what we have within us, this ability to let go. I want you to think about the toddler within you. We all have that inner child, when you're having a temper tantrum, that's usually coming from that place. But have you ever noticed when a kid has a temper tantrum, they get over it, they scream it out, they throw a toy maybe, they kick their feet, and then they're like, okay, I've forgiven you, let's move on, what do you want to play next? Or I'm hungry, can I have food now? I mean, that's the answer to a lot of things, right? Like, I need a nap, I need something to eat, I need to shake it off, scream it out, and let's move forward. Sometimes you just need a release. And, maybe go get a pillow and hit the chair with it if you need to. I mean, don't actually, you can throw yourself on the ground if you need to let the kids do. That's okay. Just don't hurt yourself, right? But sometimes release is just pausing. Sometimes release looks like praying, meditating, calling. One of my things is, if I call and I know the right people to call, you can't just call anyone, but you know the people in your life you can call, go tell me something good. And they won't go, why, what's wrong? Because that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to live in the story that I've created in my own head. So you know the people you can call, and they'll be like, well, just the other day I had one of the teens in the ministry text me, no questions needed, just tell me something good. And I text her back something good and a picture of somewhere beautiful I was at. She says, oh, that made all the difference, thank you. That was it, that was the text message. I didn't need to ask her what was wrong. We just shifted. So release sometimes looking like, I don't even know how to let this go, so I'm going to reach out to someone else who will tell me something good. And it doesn't have to be for me. You can tell me like, oh my goodness, I just saw the most beautiful flower. And honestly, that was my story the other day. I took a picture because in the middle of all the dead, beautiful leaves all over the ground, there's this purple flower thriving, but no one told it that it's fall now. And I love it. And it's still out there looking gorgeous. It doesn't know, like the bumblebee doesn't know that it's not supposed to be able to fly. Isn't it beautiful? So we must include along with the other powers, this power of reunification, this power of elimination, releasing, let go. It's the ability that enables us to cleanse out the gunk so that we can purify the holy. So that's what I'm asking you to do this week. Look inside. Look, where is the fear? Where is the stress? Where is the anxiety? And can you just shift? Because in there also you may notice is love, is hope, is faith. And can you just shift for a moment to look at that which does serve you? Charles Fillmore explains it is just as necessary that one should let go of thoughts, conditions, and substances in consciousness, in body and affair, when they have served their purpose and no one needs them any longer, as it is that one should lay hold of new ideas and new substances to meet one's daily requirements. The Metaphysical Bible Dictionary says, therefore, it is very necessary that the eliminative faculty be quickened in one and a right balance between receiving and giving, laying hold and letting go, and that it be established. Reunification must work in conjunction with all the faculties as we replace old wrong habits of thoughts and feelings with new concepts and understandings that will be the basis for spiritual growth and development, as we would remove weeds from our flowers or vegetable gardens in order to give the desired plants room to grow. So we must remove weak thoughts from our minds to prepare room for budding spiritual assets. As the leaves fall, as everything appears as though it's dying, what's really happening is it's going into the ground to restore and get ready to prepare for the harvest in the spring. Life is still happening, even when things scare us. So in this week, if there are things that are making you anxious or afraid or uncertain, remember that to cultivate a mindset of faith is simply to practice the tools we teach here. Affirmations, meditation, gratitude, prayer, visualization. So this week, find somebody in your life that that you can call and either ask them, tell me something good, or say, can I tell you something I'm grateful for right now? That maybe call somebody and tell them if you're grateful for them this week. Because that is one of the quickest ways to shift out of fear into faith, is by remembering in this moment, what am I grateful for? In this moment, what is good? Because even when there's something going wrong in this moment, there's also something going good. I hope you'll take that into this week. Just give it a try, see if it works for you. Now let's take a deep breath. Let's practice that power of pause. And together, let's sing the Lord's Prayer. So we must remove weak thoughts from our minds to prepare room for vital spiritual assets. As the leaves fall, as everything appears as though it's dying, what's really happening is it's going into the ground to restore and get ready to prepare for the harvest in the spring. Life is still happening, even when things scare us. So in this week, if there are things that are making you anxious or afraid or uncertain, remember that to cultivate a mindset of faith is simply to practice the tools we teach here. Affirmations, meditation, gratitude, prayer, visualization. So this week, find somebody in your life that you can call and either ask them to tell me something good or say, can I tell you something I'm grateful for right now? That maybe call somebody and tell them if you're grateful for them this week. Because that is one of the quickest ways to shift out of fear into faith, is by remembering in this moment, what am I grateful for? In this moment, what is good? Because even when there's something going wrong in this moment, there's also something going good. I hope you'll take that into this week. Just give it a try, see if it works for you. Now let's take a deep breath. Let's practice that power of pause. And together, let's sing the Lord's Prayer.
I find those online is so fun.
Knowing that our fear is just a thought, just a feeling, and the real truth is that everywhere in all situations God is. So may you remember that and take that and remind others this week and allow yourself to be that source of peace and that source of light.